Okay, now I'm going to drink a little coffee. So I can get ready to perform our third song here. So why don't you check it out, and we'll come back and we'll break it down. So this piece starts off in the key of A major. The first line, which works over an A major chord, sounds like this. So those are 16th notes I'm playing, so that takes up 1/2 of the first measure. Starting off on the high E string, 17 to 12, 14 on the G, 14 to 12 on the high E, jump down to the D string, 14th fret, 17 to 12 on the B. The next chord we're playing over is E over G sharp, and here's the line over that chord. So 12 to 9 on the high E string, 10 on the B, 11 D, 12 on the B string to 9 on the G, ending the phrase on the 12th fret of the A string. Our next chord is F sharp minor, and here's the phrase. So I'm going to start off on the 9th fret of the low E, jumping to 7 on the D string. Remain on the D string, play 9, slide to 11. Hammer on 10 to 12 on the B string. 9 on the high E, back to 10 on the B. Our next chord is E major, and we're going to have 4 notes over that E major chord. So we have a stretch here. I'm going to play on 12 on the high E, 10 pull off to 7 also on the high E, jumping back to the root note E on the 9th fret of the G string. So from the F sharp minor chord. Once again. Our next chord is D major. Here's the phrase. We're going to start off on the root note D on the 10th fret of the low E string, jump to 7 on the D string, slide 9 to 12 on the A, jump to the 11th fret of the G, play the 10th fret of the B string, back to the root note D on the 12th fret of the D string. Our next chord is B over D sharp, which is an inversion of a B major chord. We have the third of the chord in the bass, and here's the phrase. So we play 13 on the D string, 14 on the A, 11 on the G string, back to 13 on the D, 12 on the B, 11 on the G. So if we take it from the D chord, Our next chord is E major. So here we're going to start off on the root note E, 14th fret of the D string, followed by 13 to 16 on the G string. Jump up to the high E string, 12, 16. Now hammer on and pull off 12, 16, 12, also on the high E. Back to 16 on the G string. Our next chord is the E chord with D in the bass, and here's the phrase that we're going to play over that chord. We're going to end on the D note. We're going to start on the E, 14th fret of the D string, slide 16 to 18, grab 16 on the G, jump up to the high E string, pull off 17 to 16, and then grab D on the 19th fret of the G string. So if we play the phrases over the E chord and then the E with D in the bass. Our next chord is C sharp minor. We have an entire measure of C sharp minor, and here's the phrase. So I'm going to start off on the 14th fret of the G string, play 14, 13, 14. Jump to the high E string, 12, 14 to 13 on the G, 16 on the D, back to 13 on the G, root note C sharp on the 16th fret of the A string. Now I'm going to shift back into 9th position, slide 9 to 8 on the G string, 9D, 11A, 8 on the D string, and that'll lead me into the next chord. So once again, here's what we're going to play over the C sharp minor. And our next chord is F sharp with the A sharp in the bass, and here's the phrase.